Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to the Red Dragon Inn. This is a series of games that are party slash card game. So what's the concept of the game is you are a bunch of adventurers who just got done, diving into dungeons or out on whatever quest, and you're right back at the inn and at the tavern, and you're having some drinks. And the entire game is based around that. So each player gets a deck based on one of the characters in the set, and then you are playing cards basically to, and at the end of each round you'll end up having, your characters have to draw a drinks card, and basically what you're trying to do is keep your alcohol level down so you don't pass out, versus keeping your health up. So it's a very interesting game. Every character has a semi-unique deck. So the other thing that's actually really cool about this game is there are a ton of different expansions. As of this video, there are 8 full big box sets, each with 4 characters, at least 4 characters, plus a bunch of 1 or 2 player character packs. And all the big box sets with 4 players can all be played independently. You can buy Red Dragon in 1, you can buy Red Dragon in 6. And then you can sit down and play either one of them. You don't have to buy 1, 2, 3, 4 in order, which is really fun. You can play any of them. If you buy multiple copies or multiple versions of the game, like you buy like 2 and 3, you can mix them together, and now instead of being a 4-player game, now it's an 8-player game. But yeah, so there's instructions here. I'm going to kind of just, they're detailed enough. I think they could overall be a little bit better, just in some of the descriptions. But it's definitely understandable. One nice thing about it is, so they have these gaming examples, which I do love when games do this. This is definitely a plus in there. So it's like, this is how you do a round of gambling in the game. And it's not true gambling, so anyone's like, oh, I won't play a game that has gambling. It's more or less just playing cards, and then at some point someone's like, nope, I'm out, and then other people get gold. You're not actually doing any sort of real gambling. There's like drink cards and stuff, and there's some other rules for like timing effects and things like that. And of course, you always check out. And this is by Slugfest Games. So you can check out, they're having a little video on there you can watch. But rather than sitting there trying to read through the instructions, I'll just kind of look through some of the cards and give you an idea of what they are. So each player is going to have a deck, which is going to have their own signature color and name on the back and little designs. So we got like Gertie the Sneak, Feeling of the Violet, Zot the Wizard, and Pookie, which is his little bunny rabbit. Deirdre The Priestess. So you get those 4 character decks, and then you also get a drink deck. And every deck in every box is semi-random. And I only say semi-random because there's a lot of cards. They're not quite half, but there's a decent amount of cards in each deck that repeat from character to character. There's a lot of stuff that has the exact same effects regardless, but they have, some of the cards are the exact same, but that's fine because they're the cards that you need anyhow. But that way, then it keeps all these decks separate. So we're going to get these giant, gold tokens, which are double-sided. So you're just going to represent our gold for the game that you'll use for various purposes of the game. And then we get these big player boards. Now, there is another set, it's number 5, which also acts as a storage box for all this game, which has character-specific boards. So these are like your generic boards for everybody to use, so they're all 4 the same. And if you buy that set, or you check out that video, you'll get to see the specific boards, and then later sets after that, anything after set 5, all the characters all come with those specific new style boards, which are a little bit nicer. So this is basically, you have your deck, you have your discard, and you have a drink me pile. So if like I was playing as Gertie, I would have my deck here. I draw so many cards during my turn. What you can do is you can have up to 7 cards in your hand. Is there a spot here that actually just... So, your various... On your turn, you do this. You discard and draw. If you have more than 7 cards, you're fine. But you can discard any number of cards if you have a bunch of copies or a bunch of things you don't want. You can discard drawback up to 7. You have over 7, you don't do anything. Then you can play 1 action card. So it gives you various options to do. Or it could start a round of gambling. We'll look at those in a minute. And then your third thing you do is you order a drink card. So everyone will take the top card of whatever the top drink card is. They put it in their drink me pile. So what you you draw a drink card and you give it to another player. So it's kind of whoever you're trying to attack or defeat. So this is kind of a very backstabby type game. But you don't look at it. You just put it in there. You don't see what it is, but it's kind of who you think you want to attack. And then step 4 is you drink. So everyone reveals the top card. So there could be things that put multiple cards in your deck at a time. So then what you do is you flip it over and you do whatever the card effect says. And that's basically what happens. And it can be various stuff, like it can make you drunker by giving you stuff with the alcohol bottle. Or it can mess with your fortitude, which is essentially your health. And then the next player goes. And then you just keep going. And then how do you lose the game? You lose the game by either passing out or running out of gold. So if at any point you run out of gold, the wench, who's the like the waitress, is going to kick you out of the game. But you get to go till the end of the round. So until all the cards are played. So if you have to play all your gold in the middle of a turn, but you still have your card action to play or something like that. You still have till the end of your turn to play, but if you can't gain any gold by the end of your turn, you're out of the game. Or if your alcohol content is ever greater than your fortitude. So basically you get too drunk versus how much health you have left, then you're also out of the game. Again, you get till the end of the end of your turn, or whatever cards are currently happening. So you do get possibly a chance. So that's the gist of it. So what you're trying to do is keep your gold, and then there's other stuff. So there's other things that'll cause you to do, that will cause you to, pay gold and do stuff. You're also going to get these little counters. So I'll grab 2 of these. So you get a little baggie of these counters. And these are basically a clear one, represents your alcohol. So you put that on your 0 side, and you put your fortitude, which is your red, on your health side. Then when you play certain cards, something might make your health go down, or it might make your alcohol go up. And then since at any point, if your health would either your health and your fortitude meet or cross over, you lose the game. And it has that stated right down here. So it's actually nice and helpful there. Alright, so we're going to look at a couple of the different cards in the game. So, and then we'll kind of go through each character's deck. So I'm just going to look at his, and we can kind of explain it this way. So you're going to get action cards, which are going to be something like this. So you got to play 1 action card. This is called How to Just Get Stuck in Your Back. You pick another player, they lose 2 fortitude. So these are various cards where you're going to try and make other players lose fortitude. Or you could have, guys, I think there was a miscalculation during Treasure Division. Each other player pays you 1 gold. And this is another way the gold runs out, because they have to give you gold. And then you get some. There are basically 4 types of cards for most decks. There are sometimes cards, which will be stated there, so swipe up the tip. So you may play this card when you are about to lose gold. Use gold from the inn rather than your own stash. So sometimes cards have a specific time they can be played, but they can be played outside of your turn if that happens. So if you played a card that would make you lose gold, you could play this to use the inn stash gold, like you bank essentially, or if somebody else is making you lose gold. Otherwise, there's another one like this one, which is lucky for me. I had an antidote brewed up, so this would let you ignore a drink. So you do is during the phase when you have to reveal what your drink is, you can see what it is, and you can basically, okay, this is gonna get me too drunk, or it's going to cost me too much health, or I can't deal with this, and you can choose to ignore the drink at that time. So there are a couple different sometimes cards. There are also anytime cards, which, well, I don't see your name on it. So it's like you pick a player, and they pay you 1 gold. This can be done at any time outside of during another player's action, so you can't do anything. Now, with games like this, is anytime someone plays a card, before you do whatever it's going to say. So if I played this card, it says I pick a player, so I pick, player sitting across from me at the table. I'm like, yeah, I want a gold from you. So before I take their gold, everyone else at the table has a chance to play a card to stop it or react to it. So it could be them playing a card, much like, it's like this one. They say, hey, you're about to lose gold. They could use 1 gold from the inn rather than their own stash. So they could play a card like that. Or another player could play a card that just says, hey, you can't play that card. Trying to see if I could find that one. Yeah, so this is like another sometimes card. It says ignore an action or a sometimes card that affects your fortitude or your alcohol content. So like this one wouldn't work with that one because it has to do with gold, but it would work if you do one of the other ones. Or we have a I don't think so, which is again a sometimes card. Just negates a sometimes card. And the only way this can be stopped is by another I don't think so. So every character has a version of this card in their deck. Another one is anytime card is tip the wench. Pick 1 player, they pay the gold 1 in. Pay 1 gold to the inn. So yeah, there's those 4 basic types of cards are your sometimes and your anytime and your action. Sorry, those 3 types. There's another type of action called gambling I'm in. Every player gets 6 of these. So what this does, this starts a round of gambling. So if you play this during your action turn, you start a round of gambling. So it says each player, including you, must ante, or you can take control of a round of gambling. So basically how the gambling effect works is, once you start it, everyone that's playing has to put, unless they have a card that lets them immediately exit the round of gambling, which, everyone usually has at least 1 thing. So I'm not sure where this guy's card is for that, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. But yeah, most players have a way of getting out of that. Yeah, so you can get out of the round of gambling, but if you don't and you stay in it, everyone has to pay 1 gold. So this is another way your gold runs out. So either other people playing cards that steal gold or make you pay gold, or by gambling. Everyone has to pay 1, and then whoever's turn it is currently winning because everyone has 1 piece of gold in. Then what happens is you have to be in control of the round. So then each turn goes around. The next player can either pass or play a card. If they pass, that's fine. They can just go. It just keeps going around. If they play a card, they have a chance to take control of the round by playing another card like this. It says take control of the round, or they have cheating cards. It says I'm winning honestly. He can take control of the round of gambling. So there's gambling and cheating cards, which can only be used during the gambling or cheating stages. Or one of his gambling ones says, I raise, take control of a round. Each player, including you, must ante again. So it's like you take control, so now you're winning the pot. Everybody else has to pay another thing, unless they have a way to get out of the round. Yeah, and this is kind of like keeps everyone going. So that's, yeah, definitely a interesting little thing in there. You may choose to pass instead of playing a card. You may even pass if you have a gambling or cheating card you could play, so you don't have to do it if you don't want to. If you pass, you're still in the round and may play it later in the round. So unless everybody passes, so if you have 4 players and player 1 plays a card, If all the other 3 players pass, then the game's done. So whoever was in control of the round wins the entire pot. They gain all the gold. But if player 1 is in control, then player 2 decides to pass, player 3 passes, but then player 4 plays a card. Now it starts back over. Player 1 could decide to pass because they don't want to try anything else. But then player 2 and 3 could now play cards again. It's until everybody either passes or is out of the game. And then whoever wins, all the money goes to them. If you are ever out of the game, so whether you pass out or if you're broke, you're broke. You're just out of the game. But if you ever pass out, all your money gets divided in half. So if you have 10 coins, your 10 coins gets divided into 2 piles of 5. 5 of it goes to the inn. The other 5 gets divided amongst the other players. So each player would get 4 coins, and the last one would go to the inn. So yeah, someone passes out by getting. It's better to have someone maybe pass out than run out of gold, because then you get some of their gold back. And that's basically how the game is played. So yeah, like I said, every character has a little bit different deck. And then later expansions and everything, they play even more different. So before we look through any more of the decks, we're going to look at some of the drinking cards. So we have cards like Light Ale, which is going to make 1 drunk. So I'd move up your little white counter by 1. We do have some that are called With a Chaser. So if you get this, it's going to add it up and you have to draw another card. So then if I drew this one, I'd get 1 plus 1 more, and if I drew another one, now I'd have 2. Is how that works. If you drew another card with Chaser, you'd have 3, you'd have to draw another Chaser. Yeah, so then you draw these Chaser cards, you keep drawing them until you get a non-Chaser card, or if you play something to stop it. And there's cards that after you reveal all your drinks, before you actually drink any of them, you can play stuff to ignore the drink, you ignore all of them. So you might draw 1 Light Ale and be like, I can take 1, and then if you drew 1 with a Chaser, okay, I can take 2. But then if also you draw 1 that has a 4, such as the Dragon Breath Ale, you might decide, I can't take 6, drunkenness, alcohol, so you might have to cancel the entire thing. So there's some different things there. And we'll go through this deck as well. There's also some other cards that will do stuff like give you 2 fortitude. So there are different things there. The other type of card are called drink events. So these don't work with the Chaser cards, but they're going to have special effects that affect everybody. This one says like reveal a drink, possible with Chasers from the drink deck. If you reveal a drink event before revealing a drink, discard it, reveal again. Each player, including you, drinks a copy of each revealed drink. So this then, you draw the card, but now it makes everybody have to drink an extra card. And there's a couple different ones like that. Some different events. There's also some that do minus fortitude. So if you have the Orcish Rock Gut, you drink, you get -2, but if you're an Orc, you get +2 fortitude instead. Or, sorry, +2 alcohol. So some different ones like that. And then with all the different drink decks, is every game will come with a 30-card deck. So every big box, it's a set 1, 2, 3, all that. But each one's going to have a couple of the same cards. Like lots of them will have the Light Ales and some of the Dark Ales. But then they all have a couple of new cards in each set. So then if you start buying multiple sets, you don't want to just cram all these together. Because when this deck of 30 cards runs out, everyone has to pay 1 gold to refill the drink deck. So it's just another way all your gold starts to run out. So yeah, there's a variation rule in there that says if you buy multiple sets and you want to mix them together, you can do that. It just says mix all the cards together, then shuffle a 30-card deck. Yeah, so there's more than 30 unique cards. So if you want to mix everything together or take out certain ones or add ones, however you want to do it, just mix them together, make a deck. Or you can always take deck 1, deck 2, deck 3, have them in 3 separate decks, and then as each one runs out, instead of reshuffling a new one right away, you just pick up the next deck. You could do that as well. Some of the expansion characters will have more unique decks. They might have side decks, extra tokens they work with, things like that. And they might actually have some extra things. There's set number 6 has villains, which will add some different stuff there. Like I said, set 5 is a storage box. There's a couple of the sets later on have a little bit other quirks. Alright, so we are going to start off by looking at all these characters then. And then we'll look at every character in the deck, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so that's just the base introduction for how the game kind of plays. So we'll start checking out set number 1 here in a moment. Alright, since we've already looked at some of Gertie the Sneak's deck, we'll finish looking at it. So he's going to have 6 copies of Gambling I'm In. And now every character, at least the ones I've seen for decks, I guess I can't 100% say every single character does, but every character I've seen so far has all 6 of these. This is so you can start gambling semi-often. And then every player also has 2 copies of I Raise, which is another gambling card. So take control of the round. Each player, including you, must ante again, which means, again, paying a coin. And then each player also has 2 copies of Winning Hand. So take control of a round. The next card to take control must be a cheating card. So then this means that way if you play this, you're currently winning the proper game. So if somebody else wants to play, they have to play a cheating card. And then everyone kind of starts to get a little bit different. Some of them have the same ones. Another card, 2 cards I think every set seems to have is, oh, I guess the Lynx thought that was her tip. So this is a another gambling card. You may play this card anytime during a round of gambling, even if you have left the round. You may not play this card if the round is already ended, so you can't see the results of the game and then play this. And you may not play it in response to a card that would make a player ante, or would end the round when it resolves. This is the round of gambling ends immediately. All ante goes to the ing. So basically, this is what if like you're losing, or you're going to lose anyhow, or you're already out of the thing, and you don't want someone else gaining like 6 extra gold. Maybe they're in a league. You could play this to end it, and then everyone loses gold. So that's definitely one other thing you can play. 2 other cards that, excuse me, that most other players have are the wench thinks you should stop playing with drinks. So this is a sometimes card. It says negate a sometimes card that changes the effects of a drink. This includes a card that negates, ignores, or splits drinks, or passes drinks to the other players, or alters any of the drink effects. So if this ups their fortitude, lowers their fortitude, ups their alcohol content, or lowers their alcohol content, adds an effect to it. So basically anything that would affect a drink card, this will let you do it. So this card can only be affected by I don't think so. Just kind of like the overall cancel. And we got 2 copies of Wench. Bring some drinks for my friends. You may play this card during the order a drink phase on your turn. You can pay 1 gold to the ing to order 2 additional drinks. The drinks you order may be placed on other players' drinking piles. So this will let you pay 1 gold instead of giving away 1 card. Now you can give away 3 cards. So this set of cards pretty much every player has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 14 cards. Is there a 15th one? I think all the rest of them are character-specific cards. Oh, I think this might be the other one. Might be Tip the Wench. Might be the 15th card. Yep. So all the gambling ones and all the ones that deal specifically with the wench in the name are all going to be the same. So half of your deck, I think, or well, not quite half your deck because they're 40 card decks, and these are 15 of the 40 cards, are always going to be the same for every character. So if I look at Feeling of the Violet, who is orange, so I have my 6 copies of Gambling I'm In, 2 copies of Raise, 2 copies of Winning Hand, the Guess the Wench thought it was her tip, the 2 copies of Bring My Friend Some Drinks, and Tip the Wench. So it's going to be the same cards. Not going to, again, say that later expansions or solo character expansions which have a little bit more degree of difficulty might not have different cards to maybe make up for their other decks. But I think they're all going to keep roughly the same just to keep the game even. So now we're going to actually look at Gertie himself. So he is kind of a cheaty character. I think if I look on the back of the box, the back of the box is, let me zoom back out here, is going to have a little description of all the characters on the back. So we have Deirdre the Priestess, Feeling of the Violet, Gertie the Sneaky, and Zot the Wizard. Just going to give you a little insight to each character. So he's a shifty halfling whose pockets are always full of gold, master of poisons and mechanisms, and stabbing people in the back. So they have good effects and bad effects. So good is good at gambling, and some people suspect he might be cheating. The bad, yeah, he's cheating. So that's kind of neat. It's on the back of the boxes. They tell you what 4 characters you're getting and a little description of them. So you have kind of an idea. And their classes make a difference too, but they don't always list them on here. So you have, I'm winning honestly. So you can take control of a round of gambling. What's up your sleeve? Take control of a round of gambling. Pick another player and force them to leave a round of gambling. So a lot of characters are going to have these cards the same effects, but they're going to have sometimes different names, or various names are based on that. So it's like, oops, I dropped my cards. Yeah, so like Violet doesn't have a thing about dropping her cards, but like another character might, or they're gonna have a lot of cards with the same effect. So there's gonna be probably like another 10 cards or so of the 40 card deck are gonna be some with the same effect, like take control of gambling, do that. So like this one is dump it on the floor, it's ignore my drink. But not every character is gonna always have that. They're just gonna be like repeated card effects. So he has 2 copies of that. He's got 2 copies of A Little Something Extra, plus 2 alcohol content to a drink. So this means choose another player. Once you've seen their drink, you can like up it another 2 to like mess with them a little bit more. 2 copies of That's Not Healing Salve, it's contact poison. Pick another player to lose 2 fortitude. Oh, this gold piece, I found it under your chair. Pick 1 player to pay you 1 gold. Swipe the tip. You may play this card when you are about to lose gold. Use gold from the inn rather than your own stash. 5 of a kind. Does this mean I win? Take control of a round of gambling. Grab a coin while no one's looking. You may play this card at any time during a round of gambling, even if you have already left the round. Take 1 gold from the pot. Hey, where did the little guy go? Ignore an action, sometimes or anytime card that affects your fortitude, alcohol content, or gold. You may not use this to ignore a round of gambling. Paying something doesn't affect your gold. It's an anti's not that. Or you can use it to ignore a drink. I think you won, but you may play this card when another player wins a round of gambling. You get the anti-gold instead of winning. You may play this card even if you have left a round of gambling. Have you seen my poison? I left it in a mug right here. Pick another player. They lose 3 fortitude. Uh-oh, I forgot to disarm one of the traps. Pick another player to lose 3 fortitude. I don't think so. Negate a sometimes card. This card can only be affected by another I don't think so. And I think everyone has some version of this card as well. Hide in the shadows. Ignore an action or sometimes card that affects your fortitude or alcohol content. Well, I don't see your name on it. Pick a player. They pay you 1 gold. Lucky for me, I had this antidote brewed up. Ignore a drink. We have another swipe the tip. Guys, I think there's a miscalculation during Treasure Division. Each other player pays you 1 gold, and then we had 2 copies of How Did This Get Stuck in Your Back? Pick another player, they lose 2 fortitude. So you can see he has a lot of stuff that deals with the gambling, and maybe making people take gold, steal gold, fortitude, stuff like that. So that was the 15th card. So there was 15 cards, not 14. That are in every deck. So I'm going to kind of just skip over those for Fiona the Violet. We've already seen hers. So we're going to look at her regular cards. It says, I do believe that you're cheating. At this point, you have 2 options. You may play this card when another player plays a cheating card. You may not play this if you've already left the round of gambling. Negate the cheating card, and you win the round of gambling. Go away, I'm polishing my arsenal. You may play this card when you must ante. Instead of anteing, you may leave the round of gambling. So a lot of characters have these types of cards to let them do something to get out of gambling. I don't believe Gertie had too many of them because he likes to gamble. So go away. I'm arranging my weapons by size. You may play this card when you must ante. Instead of anteing, you may leave the round of gambling. This is just the thing to get the rust off my armor. You can ignore a drink. Or she has, this is just a thing to get blood off my sword. Ignore a drink. Nothing like a little belt of liquid courage. The alcohol content of a drink you are about to drink increases your fortitude instead of your alcohol content. Come, my friend, sit and drink with me. Split a drink. You are about to drink with another player. So splitting a drink set, basically says each take half of that drink's effect, round up, and reveal the drink first. So if we revealed that one that cost 4, for example, the Dragon Breath Ale, you'd split it, and now you each be drinking a drink that's 2 instead. But if we did one that cost 1, to split 1 in half, round it up, is still 1. Because it would be 2, you'd split it in half, and you'd each, because it'd be half of 1 each, and you'd split the half each. This also works, though, for something like Holy Water. So this gives you plus 2 fortitude. So you'd split 2 in half, which would be 1 each. So you each gain 1 fortitude instead. This is kind of a neat little thing you can do. Who says I'm not a lady? Pick another player, they lose 2 fortitude. I don't think so, so we have the negate the card. Drink up, friend. You may play this card during another player's drink phase. That player drinks an additional drink from the drink me pile. So this is your own personal pile. So if there's ways for people to get multiple cards in there, they might have to drink multiple off of their pile. We're adding in and you're not drinking. What's wrong with you? Pick another player. They drink the top drink of their drink me pile. Oh, that was rattling around in my armor. You may play this card when you are about to lose gold. Use gold from the inn rather than the stash. I like this town. They give me a discount on armor repair. You may play this card when you're about to lose gold. Use gold from the inn rather than your stash. I'm a quick healer. Gain 2 fortitude. So she can just automatically get some back. Lucky for me, I'm wearing my armor. Ignore actions or sometimes cards that affect your fortitude. And we got 2 copies of that one. We got 2 copies of Sorry About That. I instinctively aim for the head. You may play this card immediately after you lose fortitude from a card played by another player. You may not play this card if you reduce that fortitude loss. That player loses 2 fortitude. This is kind of a reaction thing. So if someone hits you with something that makes you lose fortitude, you can play this to hit them back and make them lose 2 fortitude. 2 copies of It'll hurt more if you do it like this. Pick another player, they lose 1 fortitude. Hey guys, can I borrow some gold? Armor repair isn't cheap, you know. Each other player pays you 1 gold. And we got 2 copies of Hey, no more chainmail bikini jokes. Pick another player to lose 2 fortitude. So then I got this ogre in a headlock like this. Pick another player to lose 3 fortitude. And our last card is you want to arm wrestle. Pick another player, they lose 1 fortitude. So where Gertie was all about like the gambling stuff and stealing gold or gaining gold, Fiona has a lot of stuff that deals with the fortitude. So she can like gain fortitude or make people lose fortitude. Then we have Deirdre the Priestess. So we're going to have all our same cards. We have our 6 cards, 2 cards, 2 copies. Our first wench card. Our second wench card. And then 2 copies of that wench card. So that should be all. Oh, and then we have Tip the Wench as well. So there's all of our same cards we have in these decks, especially being like the first game. And now we have her. They might not know you're cheating, but my goddess does. You may play this card when another player plays a cheating card. You may not play if you've already left the round. Negate the cheating card, you win the round of gambling. I'm saving this money for the poor. You may play this card when you're ante to leave the round of gambling. Not now. These men are interested in my religion. You may play this card when you must ante. Instead of ante, may leave the round or ignore a drink. Sorry, I have to pray now. You may play this card when you are ante. Instead of ante, and leave the round of gambling. So she likes to get out of gambling, as you can tell. You look like you need this more than I do. Give a drink you are about to drink to another player. She has wine into water. Reduce the alcohol content of a drink by 2. Reducing the drink's alcohol content below 0 reduces it to 0 instead. Can't ever drop below 0. So you can't drink an alcohol to reduce your number. Let's toast the goddess. Each player, including you, reveals a drink with possible chases from the drink deck and drinks it. If a player reveals a drink event before revealing a drink, that player discards it and reveals again. I don't think so. I'm not that kind of priestess. Pick another player. They lose 2 fortitude. We can turn water into wine. Add 2 alcohol content to a drink. We got 2 copies of that. Stop being silly. Ignore the action or sometimes card effect that affects your alcohol or fortitude. Fortitude or alcohol content. The goddess provides. You may play this card when you're about to lose gold. Use gold from the inn rather than your own stash. Or a priestess can make money just about anywhere. About to lose gold, use the stash. It's got 2 copies of My Goddess Heals Me, gain 2 fortitude. 2 copies of My Goddess Protects Me, ignore actions or sometimes cards that affect your fortitude. My Goddess doesn't like that. You may play this card immediately after his fortitude played by another player. That player loses 2 fortitude. 2 copies of My Goddess Made Me Do It. Pick another player. They lose 2 fortitude. Sorry, sometimes my healing spells just wear off. Pick another player. They lose 1 fortitude. Oh no, I think that growth on your arm might be Mummy Rat. Pick another player. They lose 2 fortitude. The Prayer of Healing. Pick another player, they gain 2 fortitude, and you gain 1 gold. And then finally, Mass Heal. Each player, including you, gains 1 fortitude. Each other player pays you 1 gold. So she's got a little bit of mixture of stuff in there. I don't think, again, this is like the first game, even though they have other ones that have come out. Even if they had just other ones planned, I don't think they wanted to get too crazy with the first game. Because, like, hey, if like we have everyone so varying, it's going to be really hard to play them. So you have Zot the Wizard and Pookie. So we're going to run through the same cards that everybody has. I think the later decks put all of these cards together, so I don't have to dig for them like I am now. And I didn't think about doing that beforehand. Alright, so we have Pookie, stop looking at everyone's cards. Take control of a round of gambling. What's that up your sleeve? Take control of a round of gambling. Pick another player and force them to leave the round of gambling. Bad Pookie, don't drink that. Ignore a drink. Look over there, it's the Lich King. Take control of a round of gambling. Teleport beverage. Give a drink you are about to drink to another player. This one's funny. Oh, barmaid, I think Pookie had an accident. You may play this card when you must ante. Instead of anteing, you may leave a round of gambling, or ignore a drink. In either case, you must pay 1 gold to the inn for a towel to wipe up Pookie's accident. 2 copies of I Told You Not to Distract Me. Pick another player to lose 2 fortitude. 2 copies of Not Now, I'm Meditating. You may play this when you must ante to leave the round of gambling, or ignore a drink. I don't think so. Pookie thinks you look thirsty. Pick another player. They drink the top drink of their drink me pile. Transmute peanuts to gold. You may play this card when you're about to lose gold to use the stash. Nothing up my sleeve. Presto, what's that behind your ear? Pick a player. They pay you 1 gold. This time we'll use my dice. Take control of a round of gambling. Now you see me, now you don't. Ignore an action, sometimes a card that affects your fortitude. No, Pookie, that's my friend. You may play this card immediately after you lose fortitude from a card played by another player. That player loses 2 fortitude. Down, Pookie. Pick another player, they lose 1 fortitude. 2 copies of Oh no, not again. Pookie's on a drunken rampage. Each other player loses 1 fortitude. 2 copies of How Many Times Have I Told You? Keep your hands off my wand. Pick another player. They lose 2 fortitude. Watch out. Don't step on Pookie. Pick another player. Lose 2 fortitude. Behold my impressive power as I pull this rabbit out of my hat. You can impress the others with a magic trick. Each other player pays you 1 gold. And then finally, the stars say no. Ignore an action sometimes or anytime card that affects fortitude, alcohol, contact, gold. You may not use this to ignore a round of gambling. Alright, so that was our 4 player decks. So then we'll look at our drink deck quick. Before I do that, so I forgot to do this. So here's the Priestess's stuff, so in case you want to read it. She says, the good goddess keeps Deirdre protected from hard. The bad, the protection does not help against alcohol. And Deirdre is a cheap date. Fiona the Violate. The good, she's more than capable of dishing out and taking serious physical abuse, and her formidable constitution allows her to drink a lot. The bad, for all her strength, she's not very good at keeping track of her gold. And then Zot the Wizard. The good, the Zot is good at card tricks and hence good at gambling. His master of many magical spells keeps him well protected, whether it's roughhousing, drinking, or gambling. The bad, that rabbit is insane. Seriously. So that's just, I just want to point those out. Then we'll look at our drinking deck, which will have drinking back there. And then in the bottom corner, it'll have a number, which will show what set it belongs to, just in case you get these mixed up, you can sort them out easy. So we have 3 copies of light ale, which give you 1 alcohol content. 2 copies of light ale with chaser, which is 1 plus 1, plus draw another card. 3 dark ales. 1 dark ale with a chaser. Which I like how the chaser always has an extra little picture on it. We have 3 copies of wine. Classy. And then 1 wine with a chaser. 2 copies of elven wine. The elves drink it, so it must be good. And then 1 with a chaser. 3 copies of Dragon Breath Ale, brewed under the direct supervision of real fire-breathing dragons, TM. So give you 4 alcohol. We have Dirty Dishwater, bleh, gives you -1 fortitude. We're cutting you off, -1 alcohol content. This is a way to reduce it. You can't hold your liquor, so the wench brings you a cup of coffee instead. The Orcish Rock Gut, -2 fortitude. If you're an orc instead, you get 2 alcohol. Orcs love this stuff. Troll Swill, +1 alcohol, -1 fortitude, but if you're a troll instead, you get 2 alcohol. Just close your eyes and chug, it's the only way. You could get some water, just 0. Straight from the horse's trough. The Holy Water, +2 fortitude, it tastes divine. And our last major drink is the Wizard's Brew. +2 fortitude, +2 alcohol. You see colors, the room spins. This stuff is great. Then we're going to get some events. So we're going to have 2 copies of Round on the House. It says reveal a drink with possible chases from the drink deck. If you reveal a drink event before revealing another drink, discard it, reveal again. Each player, including you, drinks a copy of the revealed drink. So this is basically gonna, like, someone could be like, oh, I only got this really easy one, yet I might have to deal with, or they might know it's on their deck. This could make everyone have to drink. And since you hand these cards out to everybody without looking at them, you don't know if they're gonna get it, so you don't know what's gonna come at you. If someone else, you could play this on somebody else, and now you have to drink as well. So it could kind of be a little punishment there. Or if a card makes you drink right from the top of the deck, it could be there as well. The difference between these are, so if you ever have to drink, not just with this, but anything with a chaser, so if you're drinking from your drink me pile, which is the one on your board, you only drink from cards from that pile. So if you run out, that's fine. You don't have to drink anymore. But if you're going through the deck, you have to keep going until you find a non-chaser card. Then we also have the drinking contest, which says each player reveals a drink from the drink deck and drinks it. The player who revealed the drink with the highest alcohol content, even if they avoid the effects of the drink, wins 1 gold from each other player. So everyone reveals all their drinks first, and then you figure out what your content is going to be, pay the gold out, then everyone has to actually drink it. If there's a tie, players who tied reveal the drink again until there's a winner. The effective drink cards are ignored as they count as 0 alcohol content. So they don't make you redraw another one, you just get to skip it then. So that is the basic gameplay. Alright, so the one last little rule I kind of want to point out was in this spot right here. So it says, if you don't have any cards in your drink me pile, it's your personal pile. When you have to drink, you start to sober up. Reduce your alcohol content by 1. So that would mean if you're playing a 4-player game, and let's say everyone just keeps piling up for some reason on, because you start the game with 1 card in your deck. So then if everyone goes through and keeps piling up on somebody else, and nobody plays cards to your pile, you might not have to drink, and you'll start to sober up. So that means players have to keep trying to play cards on you or doing other things to make you drink. Otherwise, if they just try, oh, we're going to target player 3 because we really don't like him for some reason, or he has a lot of gold, you might end up eliminating him, but then if you're not watching somebody else, they might run out of their deck, and then every turn they'll just keep running out of cards quicker. Alright, so that is our game there. So again, this is the Red Dragon Inn. Yeah, it's a nice little fun party game. I think after the first time you play, it'll go a little bit quicker. Like all games, it says it takes about 30 minutes or so. But yeah, there's a bunch of different expansions. All the big boxes add 4 more characters. So you have a bunch of different things, and you can pick up any set in whatever order. There's ally packs, which have either 1 or 2 characters in them. And there's our other Red Dragon Inn games, so just make sure if you're buying one that you watch. Make sure you're buying the ones that are just called Red Dragon Inn. I forgot what the... Here we go. The Battle of Greyport is a deck builder game, and there's also an adventure game, which I don't have listed on this box, which are Red Dragon Inn adjacent games, but they're not for this particular one. Alright, so I'll check you guys out in the next videos. See ya, bye.